Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Why Alexander Isak strike would not happen at Liverpool as Arne Slot takes Newcastle swipe. Liverpool didn't move on to other targets. Instead, they waited and they held out for Alexander Isak. There may not have been many, or any, better strikers they could have gone for, but there certainly would have been easier deals to have been done. Isak, 25, was on strike, and Newcastle were refusing to entertain negotiations after turning down an opening gambit of 110 meters from the Reds. Liverpool had to sit out as the Magpies missed out on multiple striker targets as a search across Europe for a potential Isak replacement almost turned to farce. Yet they didn't panic and go elsewhere. They knew they would get their man. So the question was, apart from the obvious with his goals, why did it have to be Isak or nobody else, especially after landing Hugo Ekitike earlier in the window? It was quite simply the fact that 54 of his career goals have come in 86 Premier League appearances. I think many reasons, but one that maybe stands out for me is that he has already shown this in the Premier League, said Liverpool boss Arne Slot. I think he is the only exception we made in terms of signings. He is a little bit older than the rest, still quite young but a bit older, and showed himself in the Premier League. We know that if he stays fit, he will be able to score goals for us. What he adds as well is enormous pace, and he can score with both feet, with his head, all these kind of things. That he has already done this in the Premier League is of course something extra. Isak, who could make his debut from the bench in tomorrow's clash with Burnley at Turf Moor, has come under fire for the way he forced his move to Anfield. The Sweden striker refused to take part in pre-season and trained alone, which forced Eddie Howe's hand at St. James's Park. That has rightly raised questions about his attitude and character. Slot does not fear that would be the case at Liverpool, though. He believes the club is somewhere that if the right price is met, they allow players to leave, so there's no need to force their way out. No, not at all, he said. It is not necessary at our club because we also trade players. If a player wants to leave and we get the right money for him, then this club has shown for so many years now that we then do sell. At this club, it is not necessary at all to go on strike. I think it will have the opposite effect. You can keep on training here, and Harvey Elliott gets his transfer. Tyler Morton gets his transfer. There were maybe 8, 9, 10 players in the last window who just conducted themselves in the best possible way. And we are a club that is trading, so maybe write this down for every agent that has a player here. It is not necessary. If the right price is paid by the right club for the right player, then this club has shown we always do sell because we need this to get our players in. That is different. That is a very positive thing at this club. You get your transfer if everyone is happy. Real Madrid Ibrahima Konaté pursuit no laughing matter but ridiculous. Liverpool comment offers reprieve. There was a surprising amount of candor from Arne Slot when he was asked about Liverpool's transfer interest in Mark Guehi at the AXA training center on Friday. The Reds boss was quizzed on the club's failure to land the Crystal Palace captain on transfer deadline day, and the forthright response represented something of a break in tradition from Slot, who is usually so adept at being coy over such topics. Nah, I think it would be ridiculous if I'm going to deny we were close to signing him, Slot candidly admitted on Friday. That is so out in the open that would be ridiculous. These things happen in football. It happened to our players maybe in the past as well, that they thought they were so close to signing somewhere else, and then in the last moment, things change. This can happen. For me, we would like to sign him, of course, because we were in for him. Like I have said many times, if we feel we can strengthen the team with a chance in the market, we never hesitated to do so, and that's what we tried to do. It was no secret, of course, that Liverpool tried to get Guehi through the door before the 7 p.m. transfer deadline on September 1st, having agreed a 35-meter deal with Palace before the centre-back undertook his medical in the capital. However, with Palace's replacement, Brighton's Igor Julio, making the surprise switch to West Ham United instead, the rug was pulled from the deal and Guehi was forced to stay put. with Eagles boss Oliver Glasner subsequently denying widespread reports that he had threatened to quit if his skipper was sold. Slot, of course, did revert back to type when asked if Guehi's interest would extend to the January transfer window, adding, "Let's see what the future brings for him and for us." If I am thinking anything about the January transfer window, I don't tell you, the media. The thing I think most about is Burnley at the moment. I can assure you, Liverpool, as it stands, are unlikely to pursue another deal with Palace for Guehi and will instead look to bring the Three Lions international to Anfield as a free agent next summer, and while the inability to get the deadline day deal over the line was eased by the sight of 125 meters Alexander Isak joining from Newcastle, that the defender remains at Selhurst Park offers somewhat of a reprieve for Ibrahima Konaté. Konate, like Guehi, is inside the final year of his own deal and has Real Madrid reportedly keen to snare him as a free agent next summer. Such has been Los Blancos' interest. In fact, that the France international was even moved to make a wisecrack about it during his time with his national side this week. The Liverpool defender joked that Kylian Mbappe has been repeatedly calling him in an effort to get him to the Spanish capital on a free transfer next year. Konate revealed such a detail with his tongue firmly in his cheek, but given the reputation Real Madrid have among the fan base of his current employers, the Frenchman might want to think twice about similar off-the-cuff remarks down the line. The former RB Leipzig star was much improved against Arsenal before the breakdown of the move for Guehi means he now has very little competition for a first team place most weeks at Anfield, with a clearly defined pecking order in the center-back department under Slot. Captain Virgil van Dijk will start most weeks alongside Konate when fit, with the versatile and long-serving Joe Gomez providing backup, alongside the untried teenager Giovanni Leone. Key to Konate enjoying a good campaign on Merseyside will be to avoid the settling in of complacency given Guehi is not on board to provide a real battle for a place alongside the peerless Van Dijk. While the 26-year-old continues with an unresolved future and a lack of real competition, save for a return to real prominence for Gomez, it could become easy to slip into the comfort zone at Anfield for a defender who arrived in the summer of 2021 from Leipzig. The onus, then, is on him to ensure those accusations stay well away, starting with a continuation of the performance turned in against Arsenal. With Konate even joking about Real Madrid's obvious interest, any dip in standards will inevitably come in for sharp focus. Liverpool transfer news as contract for Jarell Quansah to return agreed. Liverpool has reportedly already agreed the terms of a contract for Jarell Quansah should he return to the club in the future. The Reds allowed Quansah to leave at the beginning of August as he joined Bayer Leverkusen, with the young center-back pushing for the move due to a desire to play regular first-team soccer. Liverpool is in something of a transitional period in the center of its defense, with prospective teenager Giovanni Leone having been signed from Parma last month. The Reds also came within whiskers of getting a deal for Marc Guehi over the line on deadline day, a deal which could have resulted in Joe Gomez being sold. Ibrahima Konaté, too, is facing an uncertain future at Liverpool as his contract at Anfield is due to expire next summer, while the seemingly evergreen Virgil van Dijk is sadly not that, and he is now into his 35th year. Liverpool has arguably managed its recruitment better than any other team in the Premier League over the last decade, and Reds fans will be confident of the club getting the defensive revamp right over the next couple of years. If Liverpool were to re-sign Quansah and also get a deal for Guehi over the line next year, that pair, along with long-term bet Leone, would leave the Reds' defense looking extremely stable in the years ahead. Liverpool was not pushing for Quansah to be sold this summer, but when Leverkusen offered $35 million, $47 million, and Quansah signaled his willingness to develop elsewhere, the club was happy to sanction a conditional sale. The conditions were that the deal would include a buyback clause, allowing Liverpool to re-sign Quansah for a set fee, which is reported to exceed $70 million, while a contract has also been agreed with the player ahead of a possible return to Anfield at some point down the line. According to The Athletic, Meanwhile, Spanish outlet Fichajes is still linking Liverpool with a move for Angelo Stiller, the German midfielder who was the subject of speculation over a possible move to Anfield throughout the transfer window. While Stiller is an interesting option, reports by Fichajes should always be taken with a pinch of salt. However, considering Liverpool did not sign a new number 6 to challenge Ryan Gravenberch during the summer, it's logical to think that could be a priority position to strengthen in next year. Real Madrid gets major injury blow that could trigger 2 Liverpool transfers. Speculation linking Ibrahima Konaté with a move to Real Madrid has quietened down somewhat since the transfer window closed, but one suspects that is only temporary. After months of constant spinning, the rumor mill has slowed. But Konaté's future will be back on the agenda before long, considering his contract situation at Anfield. The French centre-back has not signed a new deal with Liverpool since joining the club in 2020, and while he is already part of one of the very best squads in world soccer, it is never good news for a player's current club when Madrid is lurking. Konate has been linked with a move to the Bernabeu for several months, and next summer he will be available to sign for a new club for nothing. Madrid has made a habit of signing high-profile free agents in recent years, with David Alaba, Antonio Rudiger, and Kylian Mbappe all picked up on free transfers. Trent Alexander-Arnold, too, would have moved to the Spanish capital for nothing had this summer's Club World Cup not started while he was still originally scheduled to be contracted to Liverpool. Even with that in mind, the $10 million, $12 million fee that Madrid paid Liverpool to sign Alexander-Arnold in June was still nowhere near the player's $75 million, $88 million market value. One of those free signings from a previous year, Rudiger has just suffered a serious injury that could prompt Madrid to accelerate its planned swoop for Konate. Rudiger has an anterior rectus injury in his left leg and is not expected to return until December at the earliest. Coincidentally, a similar thing happened last year. Madrid's interest in Alexander-Arnold was well known when Dani Carvajal, Madrid's first-choice right-back, sustained a serious injury that kept him out for a very long period of time. Madrid made an informal approach to sign Alexander-Arnold last January, but Liverpool quickly shut the Spanish giant down. With Madrid being forced to wait until the summer to land the England right-back, could a similar approach be made during the 2025-26 winter window for Konate if Rudiger's injury keeps him out for longer than feared, or even if he comes back and isn't quite the same player? Rudiger will be 33 in March, and Konate could be viewed as the German's ideal long-term successor at Madrid. There's no chance that Liverpool would let Konate go in the middle of the season without landing a replacement. But given Marc Guehi is also in the same situation as Konate at Crystal Palace, it's not out of the question that we end up seeing a couple of high-profile defenders move to new clubs in January. Marc Guehi, Arne Slot drops, fresh Liverpool transfer, hint. Arne Slot has hinted at a future move from Liverpool to try and sign Crystal Palace centre-back Marc Guehi, who saw a deadline day transfer to Anfield collapse. Liverpool had agreed a fee of $35 million, $47.5 million for Guehi, who is in the final year of his contract and has refused to sign an extension. The Eagles captain traveled for a medical, but Palace withdrew from the deal in the final hours of the window after failing to find a suitable replacement. Reports have since suggested Liverpool will not try to sign Guehi again in January, instead preferring to wait until next summer to try land the 25-year-old on a free transfer. Reflecting on the chaotic saga, Slot told his press conference ahead of Sunday's meeting with Burnley, "I think it would be ridiculous if I will deny we were close. It was so out in the open. These things happen in football. It's happened to our players before. It can happen. We would like to sign him, of course, because we were in for him. If we feel we can strengthen, then we try to. We played Ibu, Konate, and Virgil van Dijk, who were outstanding versus Arsenal. And Joe Gomez as well, and we signed Giovanni Leone, who had a call-up to Italy. We have Wataru, Endo, and Ryan Gravenberch as well, so it's not that we don't have the players. It's a pity for Guehi, but he is at a good club. Let's see what the future brings for us. Quizzed on whether Liverpool would be more likely to move for Guehi in January or at the end of the season, Slot simply responded, "I don't tell you, but I am thinking of Burnley. Guehi is believed to have been on a move to Liverpool, but rules around free transfers put the Reds at a slight disadvantage as they, alongside every other English side, are unable to speak with the defender. About a free transfer in January. European suitors, Real Madrid and Barcelona have both been named, can make direct contact with Guehi at the turn of the year and could agree a contract with the England international before Liverpool are even permitted to reach out. Oliver. Glasner sets record straight on Mark Guehi. Liverpool transfer. The truth is, Oliver Glasner has rubbished claims that he threatened to quit as Crystal Palace manager if the club sold Mark Guehi to Liverpool as he moved to set the record straight on the transfer saga. The Reds agreed a $35 million deal for the England international, who even started to undergo a medical, only for the Eagles to pull the plug on deadline day after failing to sign a replacement. It was claimed that Glasner had played a decisive role in Palace's U-turn, threatening to step down from his post if his captain was sold, despite Chairman Steve Parish admitting publicly that he would prefer to sell the out-of-contract defender rather than lose him for free at the end of the season. But the Austrian has dismissed such a notion as he revealed what he really said to Parish to result in Guehi staying at the club. "I think it's the last time I want to talk about it," he said. "Especially the Crystal Palace fans deserve to hear how it really was. So many things were written and told. Number one, I never threatened to leave the club. Never. And the second thing is, after many discussions, the chairman asked me, 'Oliver, do you think we can manage the season when we sell Mark?' I said to Steve, 'Honestly, I think we can't manage it in the short term if we buy a 19-year-old fantastic player with about 1,000 minutes in League One and selling our captain with about 15,000 minutes in the Premier League. I think we can't manage it short term, and if we then have 3 center backs with our schedule, if we have an injury in the back 3, I think it's very, very risky. If you want this scenario for Crystal Palace and you are fine with it, sell Mark. If you don't want to have this for Crystal Palace, then we have to keep him.' And then he decided we keep him, so big credit to the chairman. I didn't have to threaten anybody. There was no bad tensions between the chairman and myself. It was just a discussion about sports, and he decided, big credit. He decided against the money and for the sporting perspective of Crystal Palace. So again, big credit to the chairman. Glasner also paid tribute to Guehi for his reaction since seeing his move to Liverpool blocked, revealing that he had held talks with the England international as he confirmed he will remain as Palace captain. The same big credit to Mark, who handled it very well, he said. So we talked on deadline day. We talked the day after deadline day when he was already in the England camp. And we were always having very honest talks with him, the same as before. He arrived then and everybody could see how he played for England, that he's 100% focused, the same here. Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.